Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. What do we got going on? Well, the markets continue to press higher, right, to hit new record highs. We had the NVIDIA earnings came out and that didn't phase the markets at all. We're still going higher, right? And we should just drift up right into the end of the year. We got Thanksgiving next week. We got the Santa Claus rally. We should drift right up into the end of the year. We'll see how that plays out. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. We came down to the 20-day on the Qs, down to the 20-day on the S&P, and we're bouncing off of that, pushing up to new record highs. We'll see if that actually takes place. What I want to talk a little bit about today is the debt, the U.S. debt, right? Okay, so we have this problem. We got 36 trillion. We've clicked over now. We clicked over. We're headed to 37 trillion. Now that's just the regular debt. There's also the unfunded liabilities. Now, unfunded liabilities, we got $120 trillion in Medicare, Medicaid unfunded, right? That's money we have to come up with, or we have to get rid of Medicare and Medicaid, all right? We got 77 trillion in unfunded in Social Security. That's money we have to come up with, or we have to get rid of Social Security. Okay, so we have a big problem in the United States, right? But don't worry, there's a solution. There's a bill going through Congress right now. Anyways, the bill, it will say we're going to sell all of our gold immediately and we're going to put all the money into Bitcoin, right? And this is going to solve the debt problem. Now, we're supposed to have 8,000 tons of gold sitting in Fort Knox or somewhere. I don't believe we have 8,000 tons. It hasn't been audited in over 50 years, but maybe we still have some gold left. But the plan is to take the gold, sell the gold on the open market, buy Bitcoin, because we all know it's going to go straight up, right? $100,000 of Bitcoin right now. And then the debt will be paid off when Bitcoin gets to about 30 million of Bitcoin should pay off the debt if we buy 10% of the supply of Bitcoin. There's a bill that wants us to do that, right? Now, to me, that's quite ludicrous to sell your gold, number one. But now if they're going to do that, they're going to dump 8,000 tons on the market, which would push the price of gold down. If they're going to buy 10% of the Bitcoin market, that would definitely shoot the Bitcoin into the millions plus, right? We're at 100,000 for a Bitcoin right now and 2,700 about for gold, which is the highest record it's ever been. 36 ounces of gold to buy one Bitcoin. Okay, now that makes sense though, right? So we sell 8,000 tons of gold, we put it all in Bitcoin, and we pray it goes to $30 million of Bitcoin. Now, the leader of Bitcoin, one of the leaders of Bitcoin, is a guy named Saylor. Very fascinating gentleman. He seems relatively intelligent. I know he's like a god to the Bitcoin people, right? Okay. Now, he had this failing software company. It was trading around $16 a share. And anyways, he decided, well, he can't make money selling the software. So what's he going to do? He's going to buy Bitcoin with all of his cash. So he put all of his cash into Bitcoin and it seemed to work out, right? His stock started going up, $16. Maybe it went up to $80. He goes, this is working great. So what'd he do? He borrowed more money, sold more stock to buy more Bitcoin, right? To buy more Bitcoin. Now he has over 1% of all Bitcoin, right? Is owned by MicroStrategy. You probably are familiar with the company, but it went from $16 to $500. That's really good, right? Okay, that's matter of fact, that's great. And you can't argue with the success. Very successful, very interesting how it went from $16 to $500, right? Okay, so he owns about $30 billion in Bitcoin, has, 5 billion to 10 billion in debt. Okay, but 30 billion in Bitcoin. The company is worth 110 billion though, because he's got plans to buy more Bitcoin. Right now, he just bought some right around 90,000, billions and billions of dollars, and he's going to continue to buy this up. Now, as long as Bitcoin keeps going up, which he's sure it will. He tells everybody it will. He's the one that puts the $30 million a Bitcoin target, right? And so his company is going to just keep going up, and Michael Saylor will become the richest man in the world. He will pass Elon on the way to be the first $1 trillion man. When Bitcoin hits 30 million, he'll be worth well over $1 trillion. Okay, so he'll be the richest man in the world, right? And you'll go, well, guy, he's the richest man in the world. What did he do? How did he contribute? What did he make? What did he do? Did he contribute to society? Well, no. He bought Bitcoin, right? I mean, that's his contribution. He borrowed billions of dollars and bought Bitcoin. It's going to make him the richest man in the world. No contribution, really. Now, okay. Now, Bitcoin, when it all is mined, right? 21 million. So you have a closed system at that point. There's no new Bitcoin coming in, right? Now, some gets lost. People die with their key number in their mind and nobody can get their Bitcoin. Government can confiscate your Bitcoin. They have 200,000 Bitcoins, but there's really a closed system. Someone has to sell to someone has to buy, right? And if people keep buying, if we can find a greater fool to keep buying, Bitcoin has to keep going up. I mean, that's just the way it works, right? I mean, there's no other way to get Bitcoin to go higher but to find greater fools. Now, you want to be one of the first people in there. Now, think about all the people that bought Bitcoin at $1, right? At $1. Now, they've made 100,000 times their money. 100,000 now, they bought at $1, right? One of the, probably the best financial investment ever, right? And just want you to be aware as to what Bitcoin is. It'll be a closed system. It'll be someone wins, someone loses. Now, as it goes up, there's a lot of winners. A lot of billionaires are being made. Michael Saylor is going to probably become the first trillionaire because he's calling for the $30 million of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is going to solve all problems. It's going to solve our debt problem in the United States, which I'm grateful for. I was listening to a podcast the other day where Bitcoin's going to solve climate change. I didn't really get the guy's reasoning. Maybe one of you smart people can leave me a comment and tell me how Bitcoin solves the climate change, right? It's going to solve the energy solution because Bitcoin is just stored energy. That's what they were telling me on the podcast, right? So there's a lot of hype out there trying to get this to go higher and higher and higher and to get us out of the debt problem, to get us out of the climate change problem, get us out of our energy problem and just make all the problems go away because Bitcoin solves everything best I can tell. Okay, so you have MicroStrategy going from $16 to $500, okay, which is great. You cannot argue with the success of that, right? I mean, it's proven, price is truth. It is, in fact, 500. It was 16 when it was a failing company losing money on the software program. So he changed the business model and became a Bitcoin fund, right? Now he's telling all the zombie companies, there's 20% of companies are zombie companies in the S&P 500. 20%. So out of the 500 companies, there's 100 of them that are zombie companies. And he wants to save all these zombie companies. He's telling them all they have to do is just put their money in Bitcoin and their stock price will go up, then sell the stock when it's up here and buy more Bitcoin and keep the ball rolling, And one guy, I mean, Saylor Scientific, he was a zombie company. His company was losing money. His father started this company. It made some product for heart patients, right? And his father passed away and it's now his company. He was kind of not really making a lot of money, but he got the plan. He listened to Michael Saylor and he started to buy Bitcoin, right? He started to buy Bitcoin. Now his company was down here around $18 a share. And, 6 months later after buying Bitcoin, he's over $70 a share. So he saved his company. Now I'm not sure his father would be proud of him. They make hard equipment, but that's no longer their company. Their company is now becoming a Bitcoin exchange traded fund, right? So it goes up and up and up. Now look, I am in favor of gambling and that's why I do love Bitcoin. I just want you to know what you're buying, right? You're buying into, basically a closed-end system where somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. Going to be a lot of billionaires on the way up. But when this flips, it will be biblical on the way down. And a lot of people are going to get hurt. But don't get me wrong. There's a lot of billionaires being made. Price is truth. We're up around 100,000 right now. So Bitcoin very successful from $1 to 100,000. Now I'm in favor of gambling. Now a funny story. When I was a young whippersnapper, I was 12 years old. 12 years old. I got a chain letter in the mail. It was fabulous, right? And I'm reading how I can become rich. So I go, oh, this is good. This is good. Because I knew how to mail a letter at age 12. So I sent out all these letters and they started sending me money. $5 here, $5 here, $5 here. And it was more money than I sent out in postage stamps. And it was really starting to work, right? I mean, I was making money, right? Then I got this letter from the United States Postal Service telling me to cease and desist from sending out my chain letter. I didn't start the chain letter. I just followed it. It was making me money. They put a cease and desist on me, right? They said I could no longer do it, and they were returning my mail as fraudulent. Do you know what my grandmother said when she got my birthday card back? You see, my grandmother, she was sending me $5, but I getting $5 checks from other people because I was involved in the chain letter until they stopped me, right? That was my first true run-in with the government. I was age 12 at that time, making money, but they shot me down, returned all my mail as fraudulent for 6 months. My grandmother was shocked, almost gave her a heart attack. Anyway, so this is my point. Back then, the government would stop you from things like this, but now Bitcoin is backed by our Bitcoin president, is backed by the government. We're going to have a Bitcoin reserve fund, right? And you might want to front run this, sell all your gold, get into the Bitcoin, right? Because it's at, well, record high compared to gold, 36 to 1. And talk to any Bitcoin person, it's going to go to 1,000 to 1. 1,000 to 1, 1,000 ounces of gold, trade them for 1 Bitcoin. Talk to any of them. You can go on, well, I'll even give her a plug here. What is it? Natalie Brunel. Beautiful girl. I think she's a Bitcoin queen, right? I mean, Bitcoin's going up. She's riding high. Watch her podcast. Very fascinating. Anyways, it's interesting stuff, really, right? But I love gambling. And Bitcoin is pure gambling. Now, I used to have this idea of how to actually solve the U.S. debt problem when the debt was smaller and gambling was not legalized across the United States. Some states have now legalized gambling, but I had this idea that the government could be the bookie, right? They could be the bookie, like, for example, Super Bowl. Everybody could bet, put that down $100, $1,000, and the government would give you the money. And if you win, of course, they'd collect their taxes on the money first. So they not only got the 10% VIG, they got the 30, 40% tax rate. So there was really no downside to this, and all the profits could be used to pay off the debt at the time. But the debt has exploded so high, we can't gamble our way out of this unless, of course, we go into Bitcoin and gamble that way. So Bitcoin is the new gambling thing. But when I was younger, I thought that the government should be the bookie, and because I was actually a bookie for a while, and you can make a lot of money as a bookie. I mean, 10% on each side, just book the transactions. It was a very profitable business being a bookie. A lot of fun, too. There's some funny stories in there. But anyways, that's the other side of Tall Mike. I thought the government should do it. I thought the government was the perfect candidate to be a bookie because they could, if they lost, they could tax the money first, right? And then send out the winnings. Okay, so, and then if they won, they just keep all the money and we pay down the debt, right? But the Bitcoin people, even though it's gambling, there's now a bill that wants Bitcoin to be tax-free. All of your profits are tax-free, right? So it's kind of the reverse of what I had in mind, but they want the Bitcoin profits to be tax-free because it's really true money. It's the best money we ever had. You've seen the commercials. There's a lot of people pumping this, right? They're pumping the Bitcoin, pumping the Bitcoin. They're trying to get Donald to pay up on his promises, right? Donald promised to be the Bitcoin president. So they want him to sell the gold reserves we have, put it all in Bitcoin. That's going to wipe out all our debt. We're going to become the richest country in the world. Michael Saylor is going to become the richest person in the world, all because all you have to do is buy Bitcoin. Now, why don't we just go out and buy Bitcoin? I guess we could. We could all just stop working and just buy Bitcoin because Bitcoin is going to make us all the richest people in the world. But then who would really produce this stuff, right? So these zombie companies that Michael Saylor, he goes around, talks to all the CEOs of these zombie companies, telling them, look, you don't have to go out of business. business. You have a bad business model. Your company's failing. You're losing money hand over fist. All you have to do is buy Bitcoin. It will shoot your stock up on the news release, then sell your stock up here, and then buy more Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin goes higher, you're going to be one of the most profitable companies in the world. Do you realize MicroStrategy is the best performing company in the S&P 500? What do they make? Well, they don't. They buy Bitcoin. What they make is software, and they lose money on that. They lose money selling their software, but they make a lot of money buying Bitcoin. Borrowing billions and billions of dollars is the plan for all of these zombie companies to do to get it into Bitcoin. See if we can push that up to $30 million a year. Does anybody think this is just ludicrous? Does anybody see the humor in this, if you will? Don't get me wrong. I'm going to get so much hate on this one. They may even take my channel down for all the hate I get. Look, I know you Bitcoin people, you love it. It's going up. I love gambling too. I make money in Bitcoin. I bet on Bitcoin. I'm not in it right now. Not here. 100,000. No, I think it's getting to the high. See, I measure things and how they do against gold, right? Right now, its price to gold ratio, 36-1, is the highest price Bitcoin's ever been. Now, maybe it goes to 1,000-1 like there's talking about 1,000 ounces of gold for one Bitcoin. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think it's high right here. I think we'll get a little bit of a pullback. This is just my take. This is just my rant for the day. If you like this stuff, I don't think I'm going to get very many thumbs up on this one. So give me a thumbs up, all you people that did like it. Get out there. Have a great day, and we'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.